Welcome to OSFitTraining.com. Today is a little bit of tip about wearing the right gear when you're powerlifting. And today we're actually doing deadlifts, and as you can see, I'm wearing a hat. It's winter time, we're on the East Coast, and this is just one little thing that I do to get into my workouts, keep my core temperature, is wearing a hat. Because what happens is that you'll see like a lot of football players, like on the sideline, when they take their helmets off, there's just steam and just heat rising off of their head in the wintertime. And the nice thing about wearing a hat is it helps to trap that heat in to your body and helps you to keep your core temperature, which is very vital, very important when you're trying to warm up during your workout. So we're hitting deadlifts. I haven't been hitting the compound movements for a while. When I say compound movements, I mean deadlifts, squats, bench press. I haven't messed with steroids since 2006, and I'm pretty much not even on any supplements. The only thing I'm taking right now is creatine. So I'm just kind of toying around with my system a little bit before I hop back on the Oz test. I want to see how far can I peak, and then from that point, then start taking the Oz test again and all my other products that I carry. So I'm going to kind of take you through like step by step on how we're going to be doing deadlifts, what kind of footwear should you be wearing, different little tips, different small pointers that I learned when I used to compete in powerlifting and bodybuilding. So check back again. I'm going to be doing my warm-ups right now, but I'm going to take a little break from this clip right here. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start warming up here with one plate, okay? And I'm going to make sure that I put the cuff links on the ends of these plates right here to keep them from sliding off. Because when you're doing deadlifts, your plates will slide off if you don't have cuff links on. I highly recommend it. So we're going to start warming up. And I actually took a little bit of pre-workout that had some stimulant in it. And actually, this product is not even legal anymore. It's just a little bit of what I had left of it, and I'm just kind of finishing off. But one recommendation that I have is that when you're trying to get into your workouts, a little bit of caffeine does help. But the trick with caffeine is there is a window of opportunity that when you take caffeine, if you take, let's say, 200 milligrams, or you have a cup of coffee and you sit for like an hour or two, and then you think that coffee or caffeine is going to work when you go to hit the gym, it's not. What's going to happen is, because there is a drop-off when it comes to caffeine, it brings you up and then it brings you down. The idea of caffeine or any kind of stimulant is that you want to take it and take advantage while you're on the up and hit your workouts immediately. So that means you take your caffeine tablet, one or two, depending on your weight, or your cup of coffee. Then you go straight to the gym. You go straight and you start hitting the weights as soon as you get there. And I personally prefer to take my stimulant once I get there. So once I get there, a couple minutes later, I'm already hitting the weight. So that's kind of what we're doing. And I actually kind of got this advice and this idea from my previous use of pre-workouts and whatnot, but also an acquaintance, Kiyoshi Moody, and he's actually Mr. Natural Olympia, and I used to work with him as a trainer, and he was telling me, because he's well into his 40s now, and he's been doing bodybuilding competitions. He's actually told me, one thing that he finds as being an older man now is getting warmed up. This is one thing that he mentioned to me, and that it takes longer to warm up. And that he'll take some little bit of caffeine before his workouts and whatnot. So I don't really know where he's at as far as his competitions, but last I checked, he's just beating everyone. So this is one thing that I find that works for me, is just getting that little bit of stimulant. We're going to go through the warm-ups, and we're going to take it, I don't want to say we're going to take it easy, but we're going to focus today on explosive movements, trying to be quick on the concentric part. When I say concentric means the part where you're coming up from the lift. In the bench presses, it would be coming up from the press, like pushing up. Deadlifts, it would be coming off the ground. And that's where you build most of your speed and your power, is on the concentric movement. And so we're going to get ready to start our warm-up right now. Okay, so here we go for our first warm-up. I'm going to do about a good 10 reps here. And here we go. You want to try it. Here's the thing is that you want to have your feet, you know, underneath the bar. You want to make sure that when you're bringing up the bar when you're doing deadlifts should be touching your shins all the way up to your shins. This should never come away from your skin. So you go down into like a squat, and your feet, you want to have your feet about hip width, okay? You're going to go down into a squat like so, right here, shins touching the bar. I like to look straight up, okay? Chest up, bam, coming up, okay? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that was our first warm-up. We did about 10 reps. And in the beginning of the first video, I want to talk a little bit about, you know, the proper footwear. Now, if you're in the gym, obviously I'm working out here in my basement, and I decided to start building my own home gym just because I think there's too many distractions in the gym, and you know, just from the busy schedule, it kind of gives me no reason to work out, so I don't really have a reason to not work out. So that's why I'm starting to build my own home gym. And plus, when I do squats, bench press, and deadlifts, I'm pretty much covering every muscle group in my body with these 3 lifts. So when it comes down to footwear, now if you're in the gym and you know you got people dropping plates around you and carrying dumbbells and stuff like that, I highly recommend doing deadlifts with shoes on. One of the best shoes that I can recommend is if you use like a Converse or like a skater shoe. Those are some of the best shoes you can use. Even I would say the 5-finger shoes. I forget the name of the company, but the 5-finger shoes are pretty good too, as well as doing deadlifts. And so, but me personally, I decided not to use shoes in my basement just because it gives me a better platform, and I'm closer to the ground. So it allows you to kind of get up under the bar and get situated in the right way to do the lift. So we're now going to move into our second warm-up for the deadlifts. So here's the thing: is the key is that you want the deadlift, you want the bar to be touching your shins the whole entire time. And you'll even see guys that really get serious with powerlifting. What will happen is the bar will be scraping the shins to the point where they start bleeding. So it doesn't have to go to that extent, but what I have seen people do is, people that don't like their shins to get ugly, is they will use long, like soccer socks on the days that they do deadlifts. But it is vital that the bar touches your shins when you're doing these deadlifts, and all the way up to the upper thigh, you know, coming past your quads. That bar needs to be touching, because otherwise what's going to happen is that when the bar is away from your shins, then this is an indication that you're taxing your lower back. And deadlifts, it's categorized as a back exercise, and you do engage your back muscles, but it's not something that you lift with your back first. That's not how you do deadlifts. Deadlifts, the way you should think of it is you're lifting with your legs first. Think about it as if you're moving furniture. One of the safest ways to move that piece of furniture or couch or whatever is to start with the legs first. So this is the trick, and this is the key when it comes to doing deadlifts. So I'm going to do another warm-up here, and it's a little cold. We're here on the East Coast, so I'm going to do as many warm-ups as it takes before I feel like I'm reaching my core temperature to where I'm going to move to the next heavier weight. So check again right here. I'm going to start doing the next warm-up. Okay, so now we're going to do 185 on our warm-up, and I'm still warming up without a belt. There's a big that's a controversial topic when it comes to using a belt when you're working out and doing like powerlifting movements and stuff like that. But I like to do my warm-ups without the belt, because I don't feel it's as risky. But here we go. We're going to start doing our second warm-up, and I'm just going to kind of go for feel and kind of do as many repetitions as I feel like doing before I start exhausting myself. Okay, so we just got done doing our second warm-up set, 185, I think like 7 or 8 reps, and so far I'm feeling alright. I think probably on the next set I'm going to throw on the weightlifting belt, and originally I decided to start compiling these workout videos just because my background experience is that of a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer since 2004, and I had a good friend of mine asking me the other day. He said that, well, you know, at first he had the opinion that, you know, he wants to be fit, he wants to be in shape, but he doesn't want to touch the weights because he doesn't want to get big. And a lot of people have the wrong, it's a big misconception when it comes to the masses. They think that if they start touching the weights, they're going to start getting big. And an old coworker of mine, she would have to tell her female clients, look, I promise you're not going to get big. She said it's very hard for you to get big from weight training. But another misconception is that, you know, it's actually the opposite way. It's the other way around. The older you are, the more important it is for you to lift weights. And the reason why is because when you start getting older, your bones start to lose its density. Your bones start getting weaker. You know, all your supporting muscles start to weaken. So you want to keep your bones dense and strong, and one way to do that is through weight training. Because you can do calisthenics and stuff like that, but calisthenics, it is good. I mean, it is good to incorporate into your workouts. But the calisthenics only goes so far as in terms of what's the word I'm looking for? In terms of recruiting most of a large percentage of your muscle fibers. So I highly recommend weight training. It's not going to make you big, you know, unless you're eating like a pig. It's not going to put pounds and pounds of weight on you. Rather, it's going to strengthen your bones, keep your bones dense. It's going to help you increase natural testosterone levels, and you just have to make sure you're doing it safely. Make sure you're lifting correctly. Make sure you have the right gear. Because you don't want to injure yourself. So it's really very, very important. It's just a matter of, you know, you got to get your technique right. And that's why I'm putting these videos together, because I have a lot of people that ask me these kind of questions, and it's really hard for me to call them back or send an email. And so this tends to be an easier way for me, is to compile these videos. So here we go. I'm going to start doing my third warm-up set. Okay, so now we're hitting the third warm-up set. And after the warm-up set, we're going to go into what I like to call the meat of the workout. And the meat of the workout is the weight that you're going to stick with for 4 sets. And you're not going to go up, you're not going to go down. So you kind of need to figure out, after this warm-up set, where the meat of the workout is going to be in terms of how much weight you're going to put. So here we go. Third warm-up set. Feet hip width, point my toes out just a little bit, go down. And here's another thing I wanted to say about your grip. I like to go sumo grip, which is right hand underneath, left hand over. Okay, sumo grip. It helps you keep a nice tight grip when you're doing this lift. Okay, so we just got done doing a third warm-up set. just another pointer. When you're doing your deadlifts, you want to make sure that when you're coming up, you want to sit back in this lift. Get your hips down. That's very, very important. If your butt is too high off the ground, there's a few reasons for that. One, maybe you're weak in your upper lumbar area, in your upper back and everything, and you need to strengthen that area. And there are different ways you can do that. You can do Supermans, which I will post another exercise talking about how to do Supermans. If you're working out in the gym, you can do lower back extensions to strengthen that area. You can do good mornings. So this is one thing you need to do, is make sure you get your hips down, keep your chest up. My old coach, he used to be a professional powerlifter. He used to tell us to look straight up in the air. So this is my recommendation in terms of keeping your form right, is get your butt down. It's just like doing the squat, and it's from the legs up, not from the upper body down. You start from the legs up when you're doing this exercise. So now we're going to start going into the meat of the exercise, which is going to be the weight that I'm going to stick with for the remainder of this workout. Okay, so I know I said I was going to go into the meat of the workout and start going heavier, but I think I want to try for 3 plates for 3 or 4 sets of 5 repetitions. So I'm going to do another warm-up just to kind of get a feel of the 275. I used to rep 525 for sets of 2, and I haven't done that in a very long time. So I'm kind of trying to work my way back up there. And that's the key, is that you want to gradually, if you already know that you used to lift a heavy weight before, you want to, what they call gradual progressive overload, which means you start off light, and over time you're slowly adding more weight and getting strong over a long period of time. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for, because I haven't lifted that much weight in a long time, just due to the move and everything, coming back here to the East Coast from the West Coast. So here we go, another warm-up set. Okay, so I just did another warm-up set, and one pointer that I had that I forgot to mention is, when you're doing deadlifts, as you're coming up, you kind of have to have what I remember Kiyoshi Moody saying. He said that you have to have that mind-muscle connection, all right? Which means basically you want to be thinking about the muscles that are working and engage them. You know, when you're coming up on the, you're coming off the ground with the weight, you want to be squeezing your glutes as you're coming up, because your glutes play a vital role in the deadlift. Your calves, by default, is playing about 15-20% of this lift is coming from your calf muscles. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is keeping your back arched, keeping your chest up, looking straight up if you can. Some people say straight forward. I recommend looking straight up to the ceiling, and pulling, pulling and pushing off the ground. So now I'm going to add a 3rd plate, taking the 25 off. Okay, so I know I said that I was going to add another plate, but I actually ran out of 45s. So I'm going to be adding a 35 and a 10. And here we go for the meat of the workout. And I'm going to actually tighten up my belt a little bit on this one. On my warm-up sets, like a couple sets after the warm-up set, I do put the belt on, but I don't tighten it as much until I get to the meat of the workout. So here we go. Five repetitions. Okay, so that was my first set of what I like to call the meat of the workout. I'm going to stick with that weight for hopefully another 3 more sets of 5. And as I'm doing these exercises, I'm thinking of new things to mention with the exercises. And one of those things is that if you're trying to build power, then you don't have to set the weight down at such a slow rate. Okay, if you're trying to build muscle, then you might want to think about coming down at a slower rate, because what's happening is when you're setting the weight down on the ground, you're going through what they call the eccentric movement. This is what we learned in personal training, is you're going through the eccentric movement of the exercise. And what that means is basically that's the movement in which the muscle fibers in your body are stretching apart, and this is where the micro tears happen. And that's a good thing. This is how you build muscles. You're breaking it down through the eccentric movements, and then through diet and nutrition and proper supplementation, building those muscle fibers back up. So in my situation, I prefer to, I really want to build more power, which you're going to tear some muscle down. But if you're trying to focus mostly on explosiveness and power and speed, then right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to go through the power movements and the speed and whatnot, because the eccentric is easy. If you can get the weight off the ground, then you can control your body enough through the eccentric movements when you're focusing on that. So for those guys out there who you don't want to put on size, you don't want to put on muscle, although I recommend it because this is a part of fat loss and weight loss. But if you are not really trying to gain size, then focus on your explosiveness, focus on the speed coming up. When you're coming up with a deadlift and bringing that weight off the ground, you need to focus on coming up fast and exploding. This is what's going to help you to increase your deadlifts and increase your strength. So here we go. We're going to start doing set number 2 of 315. Okay, so here we go for set number 2 of the meat. Okay, this is the meat of the workout. We already did our warm-up sets. Now we're going into the meat, and this is set number 2. Here we go. Okay, so that was set number 2 of 315, and here's the thing is that this is the weight you're going to stick with for the remainder of the workout. And one important thing I want to point at is water breaks and also rest periods. When it comes to lifting heavy weight, powerlifting, there's no rule that says you have to take only 30 seconds. In fact, when you're lifting heavier weight and you're going something like a set of 5, a set of 3, or even a set of 2 repetitions, you want to take, for me it takes me maybe like 2 minutes or longer. It depends on the person, and it also depends on if you're a beginner or not, because a lot of times with my old clients, what I would find and realize is that the beginner clients, because they're just getting familiar with recruiting a large amount of muscle fibers in a set of heavier weight, that they're getting comfortable, they're getting acclimated to it, they're able to take less breaks and shorter breaks. But a more experienced lifter, what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself having to take longer rest periods during the workout. So, and another thing that I wanted to mention is your water breaks. It's very, very important that you're getting enough water during your workout, and this is why you'll see a lot of experienced lifters, men and women, who will carry around in the gym a jug of water with them, and I have my jug of water sitting right there on the table. So it's very important that you're sipping water during your workouts, and it really is hindering, and a lot of people don't realize it. It's really hindering. If you don't have enough water during your workouts, you're gonna feel it, because water is important for It's important for helping the fluids, the blood, everything function, and it's important for lubricating the joints and the muscles. And even runners, they'll tell you, one of the major reasons for cramping and injuries and whatnot is they don't have enough water in their system. So make sure you're sipping water through the period that you're weight training. So now we're going into set number 3. Okay, so now I just got done taking my break, and another thing is you don't want to take really long breaks, because if you start cooling down too much, now you're working out a cool muscle, which can be dangerous. So you kind of have to be the judge as far as when you're cooling down and when it's time to hit that next set. So here we go with set number, I think this is set number 2 of the meet. Here we go. Okay, so we just got done with set number 2 of the meat of the workout, the deadlift workout. And another tip that I wanted to point out was lifting at your level. Don't chase what other people are doing. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that beginners make with weight training, is that they'll be training with someone who's stronger than them. They just started in a gym like a week ago, and that guy who's been working out for 10, 15 years plus is lifting heavier weight. And so the guy who just started a week ago, what they're trying to do is they're trying to kind of match up and chase after and trying to compete with that person who has 15, 20 years experience. So you kind of need to listen to your body, do what you're capable of, focus on what you're capable of, and don't try to compete with someone who has a lot more experience, a lot more repetitions under their belt. This is a sure way to get injured if you do, and I've seen it many, many times. So this is another point I wanted to point out before I take you through the next, the third set of the deadlift exercise. So here we go. Let's start set number 3. Alright, here we go for set number 3 of the deadlift workout. Take your time, no rush. Think your way through the exercise. Envision as if the set is already done. This is a very, very mental game when it comes down to weight training. It's very mental, and that's why personal training is becoming such a huge industry. You'll find that most of your professional athletes have personal trainers. So you really have to tap into your mind, tap into your psychology when it comes down to lifting weights. So here we go, set number 3. Alright, here we go for the last set. This is set number 4 of our deadlift back workout slash legs. Okay, here we go. This is the set that counts the most, because this is where you really started to tap into your growth hormone stores. This is what makes or breaks a person. If you can't make it past this last set, then you might as well not even do the workout from the beginning, because this is what counts the most, is the last repetitions and also the last set. So this is what separates the men from the boys, like Arnold Schwarzenegger said. If you can get through it, this is what separates the men and the boys. So here we go, set number 4. When you're coming up, you want to be exhaling. Exhale on the way up. Coming down, inhaling. That's it. Set number 4. I'm running out of time on my camera, and not only that, but I'm running out of battery. So I'm probably going to hit some pull-ups, do some biceps, and wrap up the remaining of this workout. So when I get some more battery and some more video space, I'm going to add these videos to my channel. But until then, if you like these workouts, if you like free personal training fitness advice from a certified trainer, somebody who's had experience since 2004, subscribe to my channel, sign up for my weekly newsletter, and get some free tips, free fitness advice. Take care and have a great day.